Welcome back. Today we're uncovering one of the world's most incredible engineering stories. Dubai looks like a city that can do anything, but beneath the luxury and record-breaking skyscrapers lies a hidden network that has to fight the desert every single day. From turning seawater into drinking water to powering millions of air conditioners and importing food from across the globe, this is how Dubai really works in the middle of the desert. Before the first skyscraper ever rose above the skyline, before millions of tourists started calling this place a luxury paradise, there was just sand stretching in every direction. No rivers, no lakes, hardly any farmland. Summer temperatures that regularly climb above 110 degrees Fahrenheit. On paper, Dubai looks like one of the last places on Earth where a city of nearly 4 million people should exist.
And yet somehow every single day, millions of people wake up, shower, drink clean water, eat fresh food, drive perfectly maintained highways, work inside air-conditioned towers, and live lives that often feel disconnected from the desert surrounding them. That's because almost everything you see here is the result of one giant, invisible machine working around the clock. The buildings may grab your attention, but they're actually the easiest part. The real miracle isn't how Dubai was built. It's how Dubai keeps itself alive every single hour of every single day. The moment even one of these hidden systems begins to fail, the city immediately starts feeling the pressure. That's because unlike cities built next to rivers or forests or fertile land, Dubai has to manufacture almost every condition that humans normally get for free from nature. Water, food, shade, electricity, even comfortable air. Nothing happens naturally here.
Everything has to be engineered, imported, cooled, pumped, filtered, transported, or constantly maintained. And once you begin looking beneath the surface, you realize the city isn't really sitting in the desert. It's fighting the desert every minute of every day. The first battle starts with something so basic that most people never even think about it. Turn on a faucet almost anywhere in the city, and crystal clear drinking water comes flowing out instantly. Hotels fill enormous swimming pools. Shopping malls have decorative fountains running day and night. Thousands of trees line highways that cut through endless sand. Golf courses stay perfectly green despite receiving almost no rainfall throughout the year. At first glance, it almost feels as if Dubai somehow discovered a hidden freshwater source beneath the desert. But there isn't one. In fact, the natural groundwater that does exist is generally too salty to support a modern city of this size. Rain contributes almost nothing.
Some years pass with only a few days of measurable precipitation. So where does all this water actually come from? The answer begins hundreds of feet offshore along the Persian Gulf. Massive desalination plants continuously pull seawater directly from the ocean. Inside these enormous industrial facilities, millions of gallons of salt water are processed every single day. Some plants boil water into steam before condensing it back into pure fresh water. Others force seawater through microscopic membranes under extremely high pressure, separating the salt from the water molecule itself. Both methods consume staggering amounts of energy. Producing fresh water this way is far more complicated and expensive than simply collecting it from rivers or reservoirs. But Dubai doesn't have another realistic option. Once purified, the water enters an enormous network of underground pipelines stretching across the entire city.
Giant pumping stations keep pressure consistent so that someone staying on the 50th floor of a luxury hotel experiences the same steady flow as someone living in a suburban neighborhood. Hidden reservoirs scattered throughout the Emirates store emergency supplies in case demand suddenly spikes or maintenance shuts down part of the system. Engineers monitor pressure, water quality, consumption, and equipment performance every hour of the day because there is very little room for failure. Even a short interruption could affect hundreds of thousands of people almost immediately. But producing water is only the beginning.
Keeping it clean while transporting it across one of the hottest climates on Earth creates another layer of challenges. Pipes buried beneath roads experience enormous temperature differences between day and night. Storage facilities must prevent contamination while also protecting water from excessive heat.
Entire maintenance teams inspect pumps, valves, filtration equipment, and distribution lines before small problems become major ones. Most residents never notice any of this because the system is designed to stay invisible. Turn the tap. Water appears. That's all anyone sees. But behind that simple moment stands one of the largest engineered water networks ever built in a naturally water-starved environment. Then comes another surprising reality. Much of the water flowing through the city doesn't simply disappear after people use it. Wastewater enters another massive hidden system, where treatment plants clean and recycle enormous quantities every day. Instead of wasting valuable fresh water on landscaping, much of the recycled supply irrigates parks, roadside vegetation, palm trees, public gardens, and many of the green spaces that soften Dubai's otherwise harsh environment. Even so, maintaining greenery across the city still requires incredible planning because every tree represents a continuous commitment. Unlike forests that grow naturally after seasonal rains, every planted tree here survives because someone keeps supplying it with water week after week, year after year. This completely changes the way the city is managed. Urban planners aren't simply deciding where to place roads or neighborhoods, they're calculating how every new development will affect future water demand decades into the future. A single residential tower may eventually house thousands of people. Every apartment means more showers, more washing machines, more kitchens, more cooling systems, more landscaping, and ultimately, more fresh water that has to be produced before anyone even turns on a faucet. In most cities, growth often follows natural resources. In Dubai, the resources have to expand first so the city can continue growing afterward.
But producing fresh water at this scale introduces another dependency that may be even more important than water itself. None of these desalination plants can operate without enormous amounts of electricity. The pumps moving water across the city also require continuous power. Water treatment facilities depend on electricity. Cooling systems protecting storage tanks rely on electricity. The entire water supply ultimately depends on an energy network that almost nobody ever thinks about. And once you follow that connection, an even larger hidden system begins to emerge. One that keeps not only the water flowing, but the entire city alive, despite the unforgiving desert surrounding it. The moment you realize that every drop of water depends on electricity, another question immediately appears. Where does all that power come from? Keeping the lights on in a normal city is already a massive challenge.
Keeping an entire city alive in one of the hottest climates on Earth is something completely different. In Dubai, electricity isn't just about running televisions or charging phones. It keeps water flowing, elevators moving, hospitals operating, traffic systems functioning, data centers online, airports running, and, perhaps most importantly, air conditioning working every second of the day. Without electricity, life in the city would begin changing within minutes. During the hottest weeks of summer, outdoor temperatures can stay above 100 degrees Fahrenheit long after sunset. By midday, exposed surfaces can become hot enough to burn skin within seconds. Simply opening the door of a parked car can feel like stepping into an oven. That means almost every office, apartment, hotel, shopping mall, subway station, airport terminal, restaurant, warehouse, and hospital depends on continuous cooling. Air conditioning isn't considered a luxury here. It's part of the city's survival system.
The scale of that demand is almost difficult to imagine. Millions of air conditioning units could operate independently, but that would waste enormous amounts of energy. Instead, much of Dubai relies on another hidden network that most visitors never notice. Beneath many neighborhoods runs an extensive district cooling system. Rather than every building producing its own chilled water, giant centralized plants cool massive quantities of water before sending it through insulated underground pipes to entire districts. Buildings receive the chilled water, transfer the cooling through heat exchangers, and return the warmer water to be cooled again. The process repeats endlessly, 24 hours a day. From street level, nothing gives this away. People walk past luxury hotels, apartment towers, and office buildings without realizing that an underground circulation system is constantly carrying cold water beneath their feet.
The entire process reduces energy consumption compared to having countless independent cooling units, but it also creates another dependency. If one major cooling plant experiences problems, thousands of apartments and businesses could be affected simultaneously. That is why every part of the system includes backup equipment, monitoring centers, emergency response teams, and constant maintenance schedules designed to detect problems long before residents ever notice. Generating the electricity that powers these systems requires an equally enormous infrastructure. Dubai's power stations operate around the clock, producing energy at levels that rise dramatically during the summer months. Engineers constantly balance electricity supply with changing demand because consumption never stays constant. As people wake up, offices open, factories begin operating, and temperatures climb throughout the morning, demand increases rapidly.
During the hottest afternoons, cooling systems consume an extraordinary share of the city's electricity. Then, after sunset, demand shifts again as shopping malls, restaurants, entertainment venues, and residential neighborhoods become busier. Managing these fluctuations requires sophisticated forecasting. Utility operators don't simply react after demand increases. They predict it hours in advance using weather forecasts, historical consumption patterns, special events, holidays, and even expected tourism activity. Every additional degree of outside temperature can significantly increase electricity usage across millions of square feet of indoor space. Small forecasting errors can translate into enormous differences in the amount of power required. Dubai has also spent years expanding renewable energy to reduce its dependence on fossil fuels. On the outskirts of the city lies one of the world's largest solar parks, covering vast areas of desert with millions of photovoltaic panels.
At first glance, the location seems perfect. Few clouds, abundant sunshine, and enormous stretches of available land. But even solar energy comes with unexpected challenges in the desert. Dust constantly settles on the panels, reducing their efficiency. Cleaning millions of panels requires carefully planned maintenance while using as little water as possible. High temperatures can also reduce the efficiency of solar cells, meaning that producing energy in extreme heat isn't always as simple as placing panels under the sun. Because solar production naturally falls during the evening, conventional power plants still play a critical role after sunset, exactly when homes remain heavily dependent on air conditioning. Battery storage, grid management technologies, and diversified power generation all work together to ensure that electricity continues flowing regardless of the time of day.
The electrical grid itself is designed with multiple layers of redundancy, so that if one transmission line or substation experiences a fault, power can often be rerouted through alternate pathways before customers even notice an interruption. Most residents never think about substations hidden behind secure walls or transmission lines stretching across the desert. They simply expect that every switch they flip will work instantly. That expectation depends on thousands of engineers, technicians, software systems, maintenance crews, and control centers operating continuously behind the scenes. Every transformer is inspected. Every cable is monitored. Every generator follows maintenance schedules planned months or even years in advance. Reliability isn't achieved by luck.
It's the result of relentless planning. But even with unlimited electricity and unlimited desalinated water, another fundamental problem remains. Human beings can't survive on power alone.
Every supermarket shelf, every restaurant kitchen, every luxury hotel buffet, and every neighborhood grocery store depends on a resource that the desert provides even less easily than fresh water: food. And once you begin following where Dubai's food actually comes from, an entirely different invisible system starts revealing itself, one that stretches far beyond the borders of the United Arab Emirates and connects this desert city to farms, ports, ships, and supply chains spread across nearly every continent on Earth. Walk through almost any supermarket in Dubai, and the shelves look exactly like those in London, New York, or Singapore. Fresh strawberries, Norwegian salmon, Australian beef, Japanese fruit, Italian pasta, French cheese, South African grapes, Brazilian coffee. Everything appears ordinary until you remember where you actually are.
Outside the city limits lies one of the harshest environments on the planet, where growing enough food for millions of people has never been naturally possible. The desert simply cannot support that level of agriculture. There isn't enough fresh water, fertile soil, or reliable rainfall. Yet every morning, thousands of restaurants prepare breakfast, hotels refill massive buffets, grocery stores restock fresh produce, and families buy ingredients as if food had always been abundant. That illusion exists because Dubai has built one of the most sophisticated food supply systems in the world. Unlike countries that rely primarily on domestic farming, the United Arab Emirates imports the vast majority of its food. Every single day, enormous cargo ships arrive carrying products from every corner of the globe. Refrigerated containers filled with vegetables, fruit, dairy products, seafood, frozen meat, grains, and packaged goods enter the country's ports in carefully scheduled waves.
Timing is everything. Fresh produce cannot sit for days waiting to be unloaded. Delays caused by weather, shipping disruptions, or customs bottlenecks could affect thousands of businesses almost immediately. This makes Dubai's ports some of the most important pieces of infrastructure in the entire country. Massive cranes unload containers around the clock, while automated tracking systems monitor every shipment. Customs inspections are designed to move quickly without compromising food safety. Refrigerated storage facilities keep temperature-sensitive products within precise limits before trucks distribute them throughout the city. Every hour matters because many products have already traveled thousands of miles before reaching the port. Once food enters the distribution network, another invisible operation begins. Hundreds of refrigerated trucks leave logistics centers throughout the day, supplying supermarkets, restaurants, hotels, hospitals, schools, and catering companies.
Temperature monitoring systems follow many shipments from the moment they leave overseas suppliers until they reach local shelves. If refrigeration fails during transport, sensitive products may have to be discarded before consumers ever see them. Maintaining what's known as the cold chain is one of the biggest logistical challenges in a climate where outdoor temperatures can exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit for months. Luxury hotels create an even greater level of complexity. Many receive deliveries several times a day because guests expect exceptional freshness regardless of the season. Seafood flown in overnight from Europe or Asia may be served less than 24 hours after arriving in the country. Premium restaurants often coordinate directly with international suppliers to ensure ingredients arrive on specific schedules. Behind every elegant dinner served with a skyline view stands an enormous logistics operation stretching across oceans, airports, shipping lanes, warehouses, inspection facilities, and distribution centers. Air cargo plays an equally important role. Dubai International Airport ranks among the busiest airports in the world, not only for passengers, but also for freight. High-value and highly perishable foods often arrive by air instead of sea. Fresh flowers, specialty seafood, rare fruits, pharmaceuticals, and luxury products move through temperature-controlled cargo terminals designed to minimize delays. Some shipments are transferred directly between aircraft and refrigerated vehicles within hours of landing. The city's strategic location makes this possible. Sitting roughly between Europe, Asia, and Africa allows Dubai to function as a global logistics hub. Flights and shipping routes connect the emirate to hundreds of destinations, making it easier to import goods rapidly from multiple continents rather than depending on a single supplier. Diversification has become one of the country's greatest strengths. If one region experiences drought, political instability, or transportation problems, importers often shift purchasing toward other markets to reduce the risk of shortages. Still, depending heavily on global supply chains creates vulnerabilities. The world saw this clearly during recent disruptions when shipping delays, container shortages, and rising transportation costs affected countries everywhere. Dubai responded by expanding food security strategies, increasing strategic reserves of essential products, investing in larger storage facilities, and encouraging local production wherever practical. Complete self-sufficiency may never be realistic, but reducing dependence on any single source has become an important national priority.
Technology is beginning to change part of the equation. Across the emirate, indoor vertical farms are producing leafy greens inside climate-controlled buildings where temperature, humidity, lighting, and irrigation are carefully managed. Instead of relying on unpredictable weather, crops grow under artificial conditions optimized for maximum efficiency. Hydroponic systems allow vegetables to grow using significantly less water than traditional farming, while eliminating many of the challenges posed by poor desert soil. Although these facilities currently produce only a fraction of the city's overall food needs, they demonstrate how engineering continues replacing natural conditions that the desert cannot provide. Researchers are also experimenting with salt-tolerant crops, advanced greenhouse technologies, precision irrigation systems, and sustainable farming methods designed specifically for arid environments.
Every improvement reduces pressure on imports while making the country's food system slightly more resilient. But even with these innovations, international trade remains the foundation that keeps supermarket shelves full. What makes all of this remarkable is how invisible the process becomes. Most people simply walk into a grocery store expecting every product to be available regardless of the season. They rarely think about the refrigerated ships crossing oceans, the cargo aircraft landing before dawn, the logistics software tracking millions of individual products, or the distribution centers coordinating thousands of deliveries every single day. The system succeeds precisely because it stays out of sight. Yet none of these supplies could reach consumers without another carefully engineered network that quietly organizes the movement of millions of people and millions of tons of cargo across the city every day.
Roads, highways, ports, airports, metro lines, tunnels, bridges, freight corridors, and intelligent traffic systems all work together like the arteries of a living organism. Without them, food would remain trapped inside warehouses, workers couldn't reach businesses, and the city itself would begin slowing down within hours. And that transportation network reveals yet another hidden layer of how Dubai continues functioning in the middle of the desert. Stand on one of Dubai's busiest highways during the morning rush, and it almost looks impossible that traffic keeps moving at all. Thousands of cars stream across multi-lane expressways while buses, delivery trucks, taxis, construction vehicles, and luxury cars all share the same road network. Meanwhile, above the streets, metro trains glide between stations with remarkable precision. At the airports, aircraft land and depart every few minutes.
Down at the ports, container ships continue unloading cargo destined for warehouses across the city. None of these systems operate independently. They are all connected through an enormous transportation network that has been carefully designed to prevent one of the biggest threats any rapidly growing city can face: Gridlock. Unlike many older cities that expanded gradually over centuries, Dubai experienced explosive growth within just a few decades. Entire neighborhoods appeared where there had once been open desert. Business districts, residential communities, shopping centers, industrial zones, and tourist attractions all developed at extraordinary speed. That kind of growth creates a difficult challenge. Every new building doesn't just require electricity and water. It creates thousands of additional daily trips. Employees commute to work, deliveries arrive, tourists move between hotels and attractions. Emergency vehicles need unrestricted access.
Waste collection trucks operate on fixed schedules. If transportation cannot keep pace with development, every other system begins suffering as well. To avoid that outcome, Dubai invested heavily in building wide highways long before traffic reached critical levels. Roads were designed with future expansion in mind, leaving room for additional lanes, interchanges, and service roads as demand increased. Massive intersections replaced traditional traffic lights in many locations, allowing vehicles to move continuously rather than stopping every few blocks. Multi-level highway interchanges may appear complicated from above, but they reduce congestion by separating traffic flows that would otherwise cross one another. Even with these designs, managing millions of daily vehicle movements requires much more than concrete and asphalt. Hidden behind the scenes is an advanced traffic management system that constantly monitors road conditions throughout the city.
Cameras, sensors, and digital monitoring equipment collect real-time information on vehicle speeds, congestion levels, accidents, and construction activity. Traffic engineers can quickly adjust signal timing, activate warning signs, recommend alternate routes, or dispatch emergency crews when incidents occur. The goal is not simply to respond after congestion develops, but to reduce delays before they spread across the network. The Dubai Metro adds another critical layer to this system. Fully automated trains operate without drivers, using sophisticated computer systems to control speed, spacing, and station arrivals with remarkable consistency. Elevated tracks avoid interference with road traffic while connecting many of the city's busiest commercial and residential districts. Every train removes hundreds of cars from the highways, helping reduce congestion while offering a reliable alternative for commuters.
Air-conditioned stations protect passengers from the intense outdoor heat, making public transportation practical even during the hottest months of the year. Buses, taxis, water transport, and expanding cycling infrastructure all contribute to the city's mobility strategy. Although private vehicles remain common, transportation planners continue encouraging multiple travel options to prevent excessive dependence on any single system. Modern smartphone applications allow residents to compare travel times, locate transit services, book rides, and receive real-time traffic updates, making the entire network increasingly efficient. Freight transportation operates according to an equally complex schedule. Many delivery trucks move during off-peak hours to reduce daytime congestion. Warehouses coordinate loading times with retailers, hotels, hospitals, and construction sites to avoid unnecessary delays.
Fresh food deliveries often occur overnight, so supermarket shelves can be stocked before customers arrive in the morning. Construction materials follow carefully planned routes to minimize disruption while supplying hundreds of active projects throughout the city. Dubai's airports play an especially important role because they function as both passenger hubs and global cargo centers. Millions of travelers pass through every year, but behind the scenes, enormous quantities of freight move through specialized logistics terminals. High-value electronics, pharmaceuticals, luxury goods, fresh seafood, flowers, medical supplies, and time-sensitive shipments all rely on rapid transfers between aircraft and distribution networks. Every minute saved during unloading, customs processing, and transportation helps maintain the efficiency that businesses around the world have come to expect.
The city's location between Europe, Asia, and Africa has turned it into one of the world's most important transportation crossroads. Aircraft arriving from one continent often connect with flights heading to another only a few hours later. Cargo follows similar patterns, allowing goods to move quickly between global markets. This geographic advantage has helped transform Dubai from a regional trading port into one of the most connected logistics hubs anywhere in the world. Keeping all of these transportation systems running smoothly requires enormous coordination. Road maintenance crews often work overnight when traffic volumes are lower. Metro tracks undergo routine inspections after service ends each night. Airport runways receive constant maintenance while minimizing disruptions to flight schedules.
Bridges, tunnels, traffic cameras, digital signs, and communication systems all follow strict maintenance programs because even small equipment failures can create ripple effects across the city. Yet perhaps the most remarkable feature of Dubai's transportation network isn't its size, but its predictability. Businesses can plan deliveries with confidence. Tourists can schedule airport transfers. Emergency services know which routes will remain accessible. Retailers can forecast arrival times for inventory. Millions of daily decisions depend on transportation systems performing almost exactly as expected. That level of reliability doesn't happen automatically. It is created through continuous investment, technology, planning, and thousands of people working behind the scenes every hour of every day. But underneath every road, every subway station, every airport terminal, and every logistics center lies another invisible foundation that makes the entire city possible.
None of these systems could function without the people who build them, clean them, repair them, operate them, and keep them running long after most residents have gone to sleep. And understanding who actually keeps Dubai operating reveals perhaps the most important hidden system of all. Every system we've looked at so far depends on technology. Water treatment plants need engineers. Power stations need operators. Airports need controllers. Ports need logistics specialists. Roads need maintenance crews. But there is one resource that no amount of money or engineering can replace: people. Behind every polished skyscraper, every perfectly clean shopping mall, every luxury hotel, and every smoothly operating transportation network is an enormous workforce that keeps the city functioning 24 hours a day. And once you understand how that workforce is organized, you begin to see why Dubai operates differently from almost any other major city in the world.
Unlike many countries where most of the population consists of citizens, Dubai relies heavily on international workers. People from hundreds of different nationalities live and work across the city, creating one of the most diverse populations anywhere on Earth. Engineers arrive from Europe and North America. Financial professionals come from every major global market. Construction workers travel from South Asia. Healthcare specialists arrive from dozens of countries. Hospitality staff speak multiple languages. Technology experts relocate from around the world. In many workplaces, it is completely normal for employees from 10 or even 20 different countries to work together every single day. This diversity isn't accidental. It has become one of Dubai's greatest economic advantages. Companies expanding into the Middle East can recruit experienced professionals from nearly anywhere without needing to build an entirely local talent pool from scratch.
International businesses often choose Dubai because they know they can assemble multilingual teams capable of serving customers across Europe, Asia, Africa, and beyond. The city has effectively positioned itself as a meeting point between global markets. Construction offers one of the clearest examples of how this workforce supports the city's growth. Every year, new residential towers, office buildings, hotels, roads, bridges, hospitals, schools, and entertainment venues continue reshaping the skyline. Building projects of this scale require enormous coordination between architects, engineers, surveyors, heavy equipment operators, electricians, plumbers, welders, concrete specialists, safety inspectors, and thousands of skilled tradespeople.
Many projects continue around the clock using carefully scheduled shifts that allow construction to progress even during the cooler nighttime hours when outdoor work becomes safer during the hottest months.
Maintaining the city requires just as much effort as building it. Long before sunrise, cleaning crews begin preparing metro stations, airports, shopping malls, hotels, and office towers for another busy day. Landscapers inspect irrigation systems that keep parks and roadside trees alive despite the desert climate. Utility technicians perform preventive maintenance on electrical equipment before failures occur. Water engineers monitor treatment facilities. Traffic operators supervise road conditions. Hospital staff prepare for incoming patients. Hotel employees restock rooms before new guests arrive. Much of this work happens while most residents are still asleep, allowing the city to appear effortlessly organized once the day begins. Technology increasingly supports these operations through automation and artificial intelligence. Smart building systems automatically adjust cooling based on occupancy levels. Sensors monitor water leaks before they become serious problems.
Elevators optimize travel patterns during busy periods. Waste collection routes are analyzed to improve efficiency. Digital platforms help coordinate deliveries across warehouses and retailers. Traffic management software predicts congestion before it develops. Rather than replacing people entirely, these technologies often allow workers to supervise larger and more complex systems with greater precision than ever before. Dubai has also invested heavily in becoming a center for innovation. Free economic zones encourage companies specializing in finance, technology, healthcare, logistics, renewable energy, and advanced manufacturing to establish regional headquarters. Startups work alongside multinational corporations, universities collaborate with private industry, and government agencies frequently test new digital services designed to simplify everyday life.
Many public services that once required paperwork and in-person visits can now be completed through mobile applications within minutes. Digital identification, electronic payments, online licensing, and smart government platforms reduce administrative delays while making city services more accessible. None of this means Dubai has eliminated every challenge. Rapid population growth requires constant expansion of housing, transportation, utilities, schools, and healthcare. Climate change places additional pressure on water resources and energy demand. Global economic conditions influence tourism, trade, and investment. International shipping disruptions can affect supply chains. Every year brings new risks that require long-term planning rather than short-term solutions. The city cannot simply stop evolving because the systems supporting millions of people must continue adapting, alongside changing technology, changing economies, and changing environmental conditions.
Perhaps that is the most remarkable lesson hidden beneath Dubai's skyline. Many visitors focus on the world's tallest buildings, luxury hotels, artificial islands, or extravagant shopping malls. Those landmarks are impressive, but they are only the visible surface of something much larger. The real achievement is the invisible network operating beneath them all. Millions of gallons of seawater transformed into drinking water every day. Power stations balancing enormous electricity demand. Global supply chains delivering food from every continent. Transportation systems moving people and cargo with extraordinary efficiency. Digital infrastructure coordinating thousands of complex operations simultaneously. And behind every one of those systems, people working continuously to prevent interruptions before anyone notices they were ever possible. In many ways, Dubai is less a city that exists in the desert than a city that continuously negotiates with it. Nature still sets the rules.
The heat has not disappeared. Rain remains scarce. Fresh water is still limited. The desert never stopped being a desert. Instead, engineering, planning, technology, and human coordination have built a layer of civilization capable of operating within conditions that would otherwise make large-scale urban life nearly impossible. Every comfortable hotel room, every illuminated skyline, every glass tower, every perfectly green park, and every flowing faucet represents another small victory over an environment